Have you heard of the city? The deep city, the ancient Uru? Where there was power to right worlds. For thousands of years, the city lived beneath the surface. Keeper of the secret. Keeper of the power. Keeper of the ages. And then it died.
Hello, my friends. This is the Phantom Safety Pin. Welcome back to Let's Play Uru Complete Chronicles. Also known as Uwu. No, I won't make that joke. We're not gonna call it Uwu again. We're never gonna call it Uwu again. No, we're not doing that. Today, well, we finished the journey Yisha set out for us. But there's more. I think you know there's more. There is always more. I do apologize about the coughing, but I am getting over some allergies. Well, you've noticed we still have these 3 books we haven't really touched. And we'll get to the books here in just a little bit. But we have taken a look a little bit around some of these. And there is one book over here we haven't touched at all. And these 3 books are special. These 3 books happen to link us to a certain area. They happen to link us into Dunny. For example, this one will link us into various areas within a place known as Agura. And this one will link us into an area known as Bevan, I believe. There's several areas in this place, most of them balconies that we've found before. Touching those stones has kind of given us some opportunities. And this one links us into an area known as the Guild Pubs, or rather the Restoration Guild. But we don't want to go there just yet. Today, we want to go to Dunny. Now this is something that Myst fans have wanted to see for a very long time, and as of this point in the series, we weren't really able to see it. It wasn't really a thing that was extant yet. But in Uru and Uru Live, we have access to it. So let's just take a little bit of a look around here. We find ourselves in the caverns. We find ourselves in a neighborhood, it appears to be like. Now, the Dunny had several of these neighborhoods, and we will see many, many more. Lots of little local areas, little squares. And plenty of different areas to look over. Of course, some cavern elements, because it is a cave after all. Oh? What's this on the wall over here? I'm curious. Oh. How funny that is. The fun part is, I know some of these people. I do know some of these people. 75th Trombone is, I believe, the owner of a website called the Dunny Jazz Club. Lonely to 25, I've heard that name before as well, but I haven't heard it in a long time. Rium Plus is still extant, still around. Still somebody I speak to in the Cyan Discord server. Yes, there's a Cyan Discord server. And, of course, here's all my different visits. It's tracking all my different visits. Apparently showing all the times I actually linked out into this area. How interesting is that? In the online cabinet, it's supposed to track how many people visited, or was. Key images. This is a sort of local wall showing different images of people who explored the games, or were involved in the game, when it was live and active as, I believe, Myst Online Uru Live, or before then. Now, the game is still active. It is active in the form of Myst Online Uru Live again, and it is run by the fans. There are several different pictures on this slideshow. I'm not going to go through them all, but a lot of them are from those times in the caverns when that was extant as an online game. Of course, it's a standalone version, so we won't be able to see all that, but ooh. The Great Lake beyond. It's kind of in the rock. How interesting is that? You know, I wonder how the Dunny correlated things, how they found details and stuff. Oh. Well, you can see other areas of the city from here. I wonder what that glowing red light is up there. You probably can't see it very well. It's kind of dark, but it appears these show other neighborhoods and areas of the cavern. Wonder how we get there. Now it is a little barren, but let's see. Can I get it back out of this fountain? Can I get up on this fountain? I swear there's a way to get up on this fountain. There used to be, anyway. It used to be possible to get up on here, but I'm not going to try to, like, force the issue and do it, but I'm now clipping into the fountain. Well, I don't think we need to deal with that very much. We'll try something else later. Let's explore a little more. A beach ball, which was kind of part and parcel of the cavern. It is possible to get in the fountain, but I've never managed to. Some traffic cones. You kick these. Welcome to Bevan. For more info, go to the classroom. Okay. Ah. Oh, wow. This is a pretty extensive neighborhood indeed. There's a lot more. Indeed, these were meant as kind of community meeting spaces for the online competent. But today, aren't. You'll notice there's the occasional balcony. That balcony is where we linked in before, overlooking Bevan. And that orange glow is what we saw earlier in the game. Now, we're kind of up close and personal with it. The DRC wants us to go... Ooh. Pick up fire marbles. Would you look at that? How fun. Well, that doesn't really help us very much, I don't think. That doesn't give us any information. Oh, hey. Huh. That appears to be a clock of some sort. I'm not able to read it offhand. I don't know if it's still active or not, but it is in fact a clock. And yes, you can in fact get it for your Relto if you try. Huh? How interesting. Pallets. No! I can't escape them even in Uru! Are you kidding me? I can't escape the pallets in Uru either? Man! Behavior's pallet spawns are getting out of control. I swear they went back. They got. That's how they do it. They get a bunch of borrow to bring pallets from the caverns all the way to the fog realms, and that's how they get their pallets. That explains everything. There's infinite pallets. What's in here? Oh. Well, how interesting. Huh. Dunny Restoration Council welcomes all new explorers. Remember, safety is #1. Safety last! This appears to be a classroom. Oh, hey, a note. For your protection. I don't like the ominousness of this. For your protection, and then this note in Dunny. Now, I will try to get a translation of this up. I don't know what this says offhand. As stated before, I cannot read fluent Dunny, but I do know a few words in Dunny. Other than that, I don't have much information for you, but I will leave this on screen in a few seconds. With the translation, I will find on the Guild of Archivists website to show you what is being said here, just so you have it. Please, let's see. Lots of other notes here. Heek. Yes. This is in fact a notable game that is played. Heek is, from my understand, is like rock, paper, scissors a little bit. I've never played it. Explorers. What else it says here? Clothing blockades are for your protection. Please find the reconstruction. No! You can't tell me what to do. You can't tell me what to do. You can't tell me what to do, DRC. Please avoid drinking the lake water. Okay, that does make good sense. You probably shouldn't drink cave lake water. That sounds like it'd be bad. Probably all sorts of gross stuff in there. I wouldn't want to drink it either. The ERC has your best interest in mind. Please use only No! I don't follow instructions. I don't follow rules. I'm a cool explorer who links into weird places and doesn't afraid of anything. Please enter the Grecian age to pick up your key. Welcome to Dunny. Huh. So it's like they wanted to try and make it a sanitized version, almost, but it didn't end up going that way. Ooh. Very planetarium. I like that. I like that. That's a nice little touch and little, callback to Myst itself. Very, very cool. Now, I believe around here somewhere there is, not here, but around the classroom area, there is a page for your Relto. I might be wrong. I may be completely misremembering, but maybe not. Oh, that seems to be locked. That doesn't help us. Oh, well. Let's see what else we can find here in Bevan. Kick this. No, you can't kick it! Aww. Oh. Huh. Cool. Seems the Dunny were very aesthetic, had their own sense of intriguing design choices that they liked. Which, as you would expect, what's in here? Can't go in there. Okay. Man, just walking around in here brings back a lot of memories. When I was... Oh. What is this? Interesting. I believe that's a broken Ioheek table. I might be wrong. But, as you can see, the Dunny had quite a bit of, technology involving imagers, but they also had fun little pools you could splash around. I like these mushroom trees. It's like one of my favorite areas in the caverns, actually, just because these mushroom trees are fun. Lots of stuff to look around at. Very interesting. I wonder if you can get... further into the water. I'm curious. Can you get further into the water? You can splash... You can't... Oh, you can't leave the path. Aww. Wait. Did I see what I thought I saw there? I thought it was a CD page in the log moment where, like, the... where, like, there was, like, a Relto page that was on the ground. It was camouflaged. That's what I thought for about 5 seconds. I was incorrect in that assessment. That's cool. And no, sadly, you cannot leave the walkway. That makes me very upset, but oh well. Yes, it appears the Dunny had access to imager technology humans did not have at the time. And still don't, as far as I know. I mean, unless you guys secretly... Ooh, can I get on this rock? No. Aw, okay. Unless you... Ooh. That door looks like it's open. Can I go in it? Yeah, like I said, walking around these areas just gives me a lot of nostalgia, because back when Myst Online Uru Live was a thing, I didn't play the original. But I did play Myst Online Uru Live again, the version that was a re-established version. Huh? Oh, well that's a linking book. I wonder where it goes. But I think I'd rather take another look around a little bit more around Bevan here, see what's happening. Yes, I remember spending a lot of time just kind of hanging out with people and vibing as a chat client in these caverns, pretending that we all were existing within the Dunny Caverns, exploring the worlds therein, just having a good time. I was maybe like, I want to say, 14, 15 years old. Ooh, the cinematicness. Whoa! Camera? I don't think you're meant to do that, are you? I'm not sure the camera was meant to do that, but it's interesting that it did that. That goes back down, I think. Yeah, that goes back down, but there might be something down here. I do want to take a look. Camera interface screw. Yeah, no. That is the weirdest camera I've ever seen. And because the interface screw is happening, I'm just going to switch to first person. I want to see what's over here. Here's is where people had their houses. Interesting stuff. What places to go down? But can we go up? Is my question. Ooh. This is new. Well, not new, but, like, in the sense of we haven't seen it yet. Oh? What's this? A blue podium button. What's it do? Nothing. Okay. Whoa! So that was Spoken Dunny. If you've played Riven, you've also heard Spoken Dunny before, because Gen speaks it. But it appears, from what I understand, I understood very little of that, but I did hear the word Arotan, which means foreigner or bookworlder, someone who is not Dunny. So it appears that was a discussion about the infiltration of either someone who is not supposed to be in the caverns, or maybe a human. Could even have some connection to the Book of Tiana, if you've ever read that book, where Tiana was the Arotan in question. That's interesting. Looks to be some sort of concert hall or podium area. It definitely seems like the Dunny did not like, or were not fond of at least, anybody who was not themselves Dunny, which... fairly racist. Fairly racist, but well, what do you expect? They kind of isolate themselves into a cavern for like 10,000 years. They can become pretty racist too after that. So there's got to be something else to explore here. We didn't walk around here for no reason after all, right? Maybe, if we go back down there, I believe, as I recall, the page is down this way, but I'm not noticing it. It's hidden from what I understand. Aha! Can I get on here? Yep, okay. Huh. There must be something kind of there. There's a reason we can get on this rock, right? We can get on this rock for a reason, right? Oh! That's sneaky! That's some, Slender the 8 Pages, like design. That was some Slender the 8 Pages design right there. Hiding it like that? Super sneaky. Wow. I would have totally missed that, too. Well. Maybe there's other things to press around here in Bevan. We've taken the grand tour of Bevan, but I don't think we're done looking around. What is this? Let's go closer look at this. What is... Nothing, okay. I will say it's kind of hard to see, but I will try to find what I can here. Let's see. Maybe. As far as I remember, there are some things, but if you look around and you move around real fast, it's hard to really find them. Oh, hey! Interesting! Okay. Oh! Oh, wow! So that turns all the lights in the garden on. That's kind of cool. That's really kind of cool. Interesting. Maybe there's something else we can find. Let's leave it like that, actually. This room felt interesting. Hey, if you're familiar with Myst 5, you know about this dais, and that symbol kind of has some similarities with the symbol on our key. I wonder what that did for us. That's weird. Huh. You know, maybe it's time to take this book. Maybe it'll show us something interesting. After all, that is how you get places in a Myst game. You link. Oh. Interesting. Well, I never met a hole I didn't put my hand into, so... What? What is this? Actually, I do remember this very vaguely. I remember this vaguely. Interesting. I do believe, Ferry terminal, what's that? I do believe that, oh! Well, that's convenient. That's very convenient. Okay, so it's like a transport system. This is like a library. This is how the Dunny kind of got around, or it was apparently going to be. That is a really cool idea. Well, again, never read a book I didn't want to link with, so let's go. Okay, now this is a view I definitely remember. And I have a story to tell you guys. So this is a structure known as Karath's Arch, and it is the central location. We are on the island of Agura, which is in the center of the Dunny Caverns. It is the central location where all of the Dunny lords lived, and Karath's Arch was kind of the gateway into it. It was notable as being kind of the gate point for noblemen who took the ferries here and there, back from the island. This is where all the rich Dunny lived, basically. This is also where Cavern is located. Within the palace, the great palace of the king. And when I was playing Myst Online Uru Live, again, as a youngin', again, like 13, 14 years old, I discovered that some people had figured out how to get into the, can I get through here? No. No. Had discovered how to get into the source code for Uru Live. Because Cyan had just released it as a open source game. And I vividly remember one day, a bunch of people were kind of vibing around. Sometimes people would come in and hang out. It was pretty quiet back then, but sometimes people would come in and hang out. I assume this is a linking book back to the Nexus. It is. But people would kind of hang out down by the docks and, like, chill out sometimes. Or they'd hang out in Dunny and chill for a little while. It became kind of our open source playground a little bit. And one day someone had found out how to open up the source code for Uru Live and play around with it. I believe a lot of those people are in what is known in the fan circle as the Guild of Writers. They're people who do a lot of, like, modding within the Uru online scene. And yes, it is still active. Mola is still active, and people still investigate it to this day. But people would... Oh, I don't think I can open this. Oh. What? Oh, a borrow stone. I'm going to leave that alone for a second, because I don't want to leave this area just yet. I'm not done with the story I'm telling you anyway. Interesting view over here. But, yeah, people have found a way to get into the source code, and a lot of them are in the fan group known as the Guild of Writers, which does a lot of modding within the Mola community. They even have added ages to the game, which is fantastic stuff. It's nice to see some of this stuff actually come to fruition when it was so intangible for so long. If you know, you know. But as a kid, I was walking around one day in Uru. I decided, hey, I'm just going to go link around to Karath's Arch and go hang out on the ferry docks. It seems like a lot of fun. I like that area. I've always liked that area. Ooh, spooky noises. There's also a way to jump over this way. You can jump over this way, I believe. But I'm not going to risk it. Looks unsafe. Ferry docks. And if you try to jump in the water, I believe you do panic link. But anyway, I was over trying to hang out at the docks, vibe, and, like, kind of explore the area. kind of look at the sites around the caverns. And one day, my friends, one day I linked in and I heard this horrifying noise. And it was this shrieking noise, and I didn't know what it was at first. But I did a little bit of exploration and soon discovered, as I was kind of wandering around in the caverns, that there was something flying around the arch. A lot of somethings, quite a lot of somethings. And that something was a big swarm of Barrow. Just this massive swarm of Barrow, flapping around the arch, no reason, screaming like they were angry. And now, I had never played Myst Online Uru Live as it was at the start, so I didn't have any story context for this. I just literally linked in, like, right about up there, which I'll go up there in a second. But I linked in up there, and I was looking at the arch, and I heard these Barrow all just shrieking and flying around. And there were people standing on the ferries just like, what is going on? What is happening? Trying to figure out what is up with the noises and the sounds and the sight going on in the caverns with these Barrow flying around. And nobody had an answer. Nobody knew. Nobody really had an idea of why this was happening. Why these Barrow were flying around shrieking. Because at that point in the game's life cycle, all of the special effects for the Barrow were supposed to be turned off. I think it was actually like right here when I saw it. But all the special effects in the caverns were turned off. And as it turns out, that was part of the story for a point in the game where a bunch of Barrow were supposed to swarm around the caverns. Yeah, I think it was like actually right here, just seeing it. I didn't even dare go any closer because I was so freaked out. I'm like, what is happening? But like me and a bunch of other explorers were standing here looking out at this arch. All these Barrow just flying around that arch. Just flying in a big circle around this arch. Screaming, and like, none of us had any idea. And as it turns out, it was part of Myst Online Uru Live content that was meant to be for the end of one of the seasons. And it just kind of stuck that way. And we later found out that somebody had opened up the source code and started playing around with the source code and activated something from like one of the episodes of the only season Uru ever had. The only season of storyline that Uru ever had. And they decided to prank everybody in the caverns, or maybe they were testing something, I don't know, by turning on the Barrow and making them fly around the arch. But I had no context. I think I was even like right up here too, right up here on the great staircase, up on that balcony, one of these balconies. And I just had no context. Scared the crap out of me too, and that memory has always stuck with me. I've not played this game in like 15 some years, but that memory so stuck with me that I still have a little bit of respect for the Barrow to this day, and a little bit of weird understanding of just how dangerous they can kind of be, even though I never participated in any of the storyline where they were shown to be quite dangerous if crossed. I believe they even killed one of the explorers in the caverns, and her friend. It was actually a whole deal. Like, there's a whole interesting storyline about it, and if you want to look on the Guild of Archivists website, you can find the whole rundown of it. I'm not going to explain it all here. We have other things to go look at, like this. Oh! Well, we're in Teledon again. That's interesting. Teledon, the weird mushroom age of all the shrooms. Well, what appears to be some sort of dock. That's interesting. Oh, hey! A Relto page. Well, we've now added 2 things to our Relto. How interesting. What happens if we press this button? I'm curious. Can we press it? No, I don't think the lever works. But as far as I know, we're somewhere near the entrance of where the slave caves would be, aren't we? Well, there's no way off of here, and we can't really jump in that murky water, so let's go back to Relto and see what we've accrued so far. It is still raining on our Relto. But before I show you anything else, I just want to show you some of the new accoutrements for our island, our Relto here. As you can see, islands have been added. Little islands, how cute. And a dock has been added. That's nice. You can try to jump onto these islands, but I'm not gonna. In the online version, these islands are more robust and have some extra material to them. But I'm, again, not going to try to jump on them. They are kind of located around the island, just kind of add a little bit of flair, a little bit of detail, a little bit more to it. As for the docks, well, we have a nice dock for our age, which is really nice. It's a dock in the sky. It's very Narayani. I feel like it's very Narayani. I've always wished that they could have added, like, lattice trees and, like, some other stuff to the Relto, but unfortunately they were not allowed to add anything from Exile or Revelation. Nothing related to Spire, nothing related to Haven or Narayan or any of the Lesson Ages. Sad times. I would have loved a Relto with a pink sky and some lattice trees. Well, well, what's this? Appears this links to the Nexus. That's interesting. We have Bevan, we have the Nexus. And we have various other parts of Dunny. How interesting. A lot of new information, a lot of new things we've discovered here. We'll take a look at this book later. But hey, we do still have Agura, don't we? It looks like we're going to want to link into someplace different from here. I think here makes sense. Now, we are back in the office that Douglas Sharper took for his own, and we're here for a very specific reason. You see, there's something we need to note. There's a reason all this links to Teledon. We're still on Agura, by the way. Like Zeep, still on Agura. There's the neighborhood. There's the ferry area. That was like they were spying. I wonder why. I really don't like the Marrow in the background. It never means anything good. There's actually something we need to actually take a look at. You remember we were reading these journals back when we were investigating Teledon? Well, there was an interesting code in one of them that was a bunch of O's, B's, and G's. And we very recently did discover a bunch of O's, B's, and G's in the sense of some lights, didn't we? And there's also some coordinates that we need to find. And I'm going to tell you what we need to do here, actually. It involves our key. The point of Dunny, and the point of this stuff being in Uru, is to calibrate something, help us kind of understand our keys in the cavern a little bit more. There's a place known as the Great Zero in the caverns, and it is basically the central way that Dunny kind of will navigate it around the caverns. I mean, they don't have a sun, they don't have any sort of grid-based coordinates, they have used polar coordinates. The cavern is roughly circular. So as the cavern is roughly circular, they devised this system. And they were going to, apparently, according to the history, use key as technology to help basically act as a cell phone, a Dunny cell phone. That could be like a GPS and all that. Interesting. Now, these notes didn't mean a whole lot to us at the time, but they certainly do now. So we have a few things. We note that there are some coordinates. In this case, the coordinates are 2, 1, 7, 5, 5, 8, negative 81, and those are polar coordinates. I forget what they actually are relevant to, but I'm going to keep them in mind anyway. And we also note green, orange, blue. But, well, we don't have any sort of extra info yet. But, it does involve us going back to Teledon. So that means we're going back to the Mushroom Age. Seems all routes lead there anyway. There's something definitely strange going on about Sharper and Teledon and all this. It's like someone's trying to tell us something. Now remember back on Teledon when I backtracked and kind of opened up that pathway back towards the slave caverns? There's a very important reason I did that. And it's because we eventually do need to have that pathway open. Specifically, we need that pathway that has the gateway down and like the opening into the slave caverns. And doing that is going to take us somewhere very important and new that we have not discovered just yet. Now, I am kind of like forecasting a little bit, just because I do remember this part. I remember looking for all this. Is it down? Yeah, it's down. I'm silly. Oh. But yes, it does mean we have to come back to the beginning. I forgot this elevator has multiple routes you can go up and down. That does make me a little curious if you can go up further past the office. But I might be wrong. So we do want to go back down towards where the slave caverns were and take a look around in there. Because there is something of interest down there. Very likely a hidden door. I do remember there being a hidden door. And I love, too, how Uru, as it kind of aged into being a little bit more of a detailed game, slowly added more and more and more things to even old ages, so it encouraged you to go explore those ages again. Make them your home, so to speak. Sorry about that. Didn't mean that happened. Oh, no, stop! But yes, Uru did try to be kind of a robust online gaming experience, and a lot of this material that you're seeing for Dunny and for some of the new ages we'll be exploring in the Path of the Shell content came from the online version. In fact, all of the Path of the Shell content and a lot of the Dunny content came from the Myst Online Uru Live days, like the second iteration of it, involving a whole thing involving Yisha and a Borrow Civil War and all sorts of weird stuff. Crazy, crazy, crazy situation. But unfortunately, I wasn't around for all that. I didn't get to explore that. And I feel sad I didn't get to explore that, because Cyan tried to make it a very personal experience. Now, it never could have worked that way long-term. That's not how online games tend to operate their stories, anyway. And it would have been feasible even if it was working that way. It did work that way. But it would have been very cool to see it, or try to see it, happen that way. I believe we did leave the gates open. I hope we did. No, we did not. So I figured it out. Turns out whenever you change the panels over there in that room, it changes the code. So I just had to move one of the rocks. It's open now. But I need this to be closed. If I can get into that room. I need this to be closed, is the problem. The problem is I messed it up when I did it the last time. And also, when I went back, I had accidentally not lowered the bridge all the way. Which was a problem. That was a very big problem. But I can fix it now. Let me see. I think I'm going to try to reopen that pathway that I had, because I have the right idea. I had the right idea. The gate does need to be closed, but I couldn't get back to that area by the docks is the problem. Because back when I did Teledon at the start, I did not lower this bridge over here all the way, and I thought I had. I did pull the lever and lower it. It did lower the bridge, but I believe it was like stuck. There we are. So now we have this all set. So now what we can do is we can take the other way back. But I need to have that gate closed now. So what I did was I messed up. I actually had to like look up a walkthrough to see what I did wrong here. By first scrambling the code that is supposed to be, and then by accidentally not lowering that bridge. I thought I had lowered it all the way. I had not. That was absolutely my bad. That was my bad. I did this wrong. This is my bad. I did this wrong. Okay, I guess we'll do this the old-fashioned way. Now, off-screen, what I did is I set my journey cloth to the slave caverns. So that'll make it easier for me to link back there. I'm sorry I have to see this kind of a messy solution to the puzzle, but this is kind of, you know, part and parcel of the experience, you know? Sometimes puzzle solutions are a mess. We do have a journey cloth that'll take us right to the slave caves. All I gotta do is find a way to close that inner gate. The outer gate. I need the inner gates open, but the outer gates closed. So that means I guess I have to, like, push all these rocks off these panels. If I can just move just one, that should do it. Did it? Yeah, there we go. That's what I need. And then what I need to do is link back. No. Did I mess this up? Because I need those open. So I think what I need to do now is put rocks on all of them. Unless they all need to be not depressed, in which case I messed up the puzzle. I'll try kicking them all off the things. See if that works. I hope that works. I don't want to have to do this puzzle a million times. Yep, that was it. It was the other way around. So now that's shut, which is what I want it to be. I want it to be shut. And now we link back to Relto, and we go back the other way around. Yes, this really is what you have to do. I promise this is what you have to do. I remember it being annoying then, and it's annoying now. This is what you have to do to find a certain area, a certain part of the game that has information and something we need to get to solve the 2 Dunny portion. So now we get that fun view of Teledon again, which we saw at the beginning, which I think, again, is one of my favorite sites in all of Uru. Leave this hut. Go all the way around. No, don't get caught on the mushroom, please. And... no, this way. There we go. Yes, Phantom, this way. I know the mushroom spores get you extremely high. You don't need to get confused. It's a little weird that the mushrooms have, like, gills at the very base like that. There's some weird... Unless that's like a fallen mushroom, and I'm just not noticing. You know, that's the wrong direction. This is the direction we need to go. Sorry, Teledon is just such an interesting, pretty age that sometimes get a little turned around, you know? It's a charming place. I don't particularly like mushrooms as a foodstuff, mind you. But Mushroom Age is a cool concept. It's a very cool concept. I think it's a cool concept. I always wonder if there's more to Teledon, more mushroom islands like that. There has to be. I mean, it seems like almost there's never any just like one version or one area of any age. They're whole worlds. So there's got to be more to them than just a bunch of oceans on this one island, right? It's just that whoever wrote the link only links to the one island. Wrong way. Got a bit of a long trek. I apologize. And this was on me. This is my bad. I messed this up. I shouldn't have done it this way. In doing it this way, I've kind of, well, screwed the pooch a little bit and made it a little more awkward for myself. Because a lot of what I was doing at the very start was supposed to be set up for this. And it didn't end up being set up for this. It just ended up being a little bit awkward. But if I did this right, we should find the room that I'm looking for. I think I mentioned before how much I like those jumpy pancake things. They're kind of cute. I kind of would like to own one as a pet. They seem like they're kind of dumb and dorky, but still would like to own one as a pet. So now we have access to the slave caverns again. And if I did this right, there should be like an alcove or something. Aha! That's where it is. That's it. We found it. But I think I'm going to leave that for next time, because we've been traveling for a little bit. So until next time, this is the Phantom Safety Pin. This has been Uru Complete Chronicles. And I'll catch you on the flip side. See you then.